Hey, this is I Love episode 4. I Love the Fire by Haste. Enjoy. Alright, it's been a week now, so we can all agree The Fire is the best album of the year, and that it will continue to hold that position until Haste drops again, right? I mean, this thing is monumental. 12 tracks filled with my heart and soul, all playing with unique sounds that encompass each song, allowing one after another to distinctly feel like its own chapter, while all together telling one coherent, thematically engaging, and symbolically rich story. The Fire is about the trials and tribulation that comes from being too engrossed with one's own facade, the consequences of hedonism, and the inspiration it takes and struggle it long still may be to overcome your vices. Softly spoken, sobering introspection commentates heated confidence, which is challenged by a forceful, almost overcompensating arrogance. When solidifying the thematic narrative of the album, I posed questions to myself, like, what is the outcome of all this output of smooth charm after an overindulgence in it? When that cool belief becomes harder to watch, harder to justify, when every situation and squabble seems to be blown out of proportion tenfold more than the one before. There's a burning rage and ambition underlying every song. This desire, at times desperation, to always want more, to not be settled, to be so far away from comfort and a sense of contentment. This is to me the crux of the album, what shapes such a special story, because it asks the question of the protagonist, what are you going to do with that hunger and drive? Are you going to satiate yourself with women, drugs, alcohol, satisfying your ego with talk about how good you are, giving in to hedonism time and time again? Or are you going to put your head down and work, looking to take artistic leaps, to accept that you can't have everything, you cannot have your cake and eat it too? There's no long-term love and compassion at the same time as chasing the highs of many suitors, one after another. There's no sustained focus, commitment, and dedication to one's goals and the achievement of ultimate success, whatever that may be, at the same time as the deep indulgence in toxins and dopamine rushes. This album uses the mere idea of pent-up aggression to fuel itself. Even if there's nothing especially tangible to be worked up about, it forges these ideas in the mind, as if to have another reason to go harder. It's a mental workout of the protagonist's own ability to be motivated. The opening 2 tracks, which also have immediate lead singles, Firestarter and Die For You, are prime examples of this. Haste just wants to rap. He wants to write bars. He wants to reap recognition and notoriety from that, in large part because he wants to do it on a scale where he can live sufficiently off of it, off of what he feels to be a core part of him, an intrinsic part of his living output, and also so he can instill what he feels to be these strong and inspiring beliefs in the masses, so he can create the sense of strength and unity, that core idea of lighting fires of inspiration, of being beacons of light, of chasing dreams and desires. He's worked up because he wants people to give a fuck, to not feel ashamed for caring, that there's no such thing as doing too much, that it's okay to take things seriously and try with all your heart in a time of constant judgment, irony, and overconsciousness. He's not trying to look cool. He's not trying to make things look like they take no effort. This is an illuminating of embracement of the grind, of accepting the fact that growth happens on a step-by-step basis. And it starts from someplace quite small. He would love overnight success, but he's not going to act like everything happens overnight. In Die For You in particular, he is so pissed when people aren't trying enough, when people are making excuses based on some public perception principle, executing on a deep spite he has for people who don't inspire, who don't motivate, who don't take chances to do what they want to do, and instead settle for their dreams to be nothing more than passing comments, for them to just let their biggest desires blow away with the wind, because it's easier to unremarkably say, oh, I never had the chance, I don't have the time, it's not the time now, I'm waiting for the inspiration, I need to focus on other things, and then project onto others your internalized anguish and not grabbing hold of what you want and doing everything in your power to make it come to fruition by way of demeaning them, not taking things seriously, and growing jaded as you live the burden of regret that you deep down know you didn't do what your heart really yearned for. The Fire is all about having sighted an opportunity to make one's dreams come true and doing everything in one's power to make sure they do, not letting it slip through. Haste is a yearner, and at this time in his journey, there are a lot of heavy emotions flowing through. He's antsy, but he could never pass up an opportunity to pursue. He just loves any opportunity to play. Look back, respect me, and white powder play with the beauty and turmoil of yearning and courtship. Look Back is just such a fun little vibe, and it's the first time these moments of conversation are taken to in the album, which is a fun contrast to the stream of consciousness poetic bars and the picture painting situation drawing. There is a lot of flair here. There's some heat to it. It showcases what that space of mind Haste discusses and operates in actually looks like when taken into the real world, beyond the page. He seeks smoothness. He wants to indulge. He likes to play with temptation. He draws up these worlds when he meets someone, and he gives himself completely to them. I would say at this stage he's never more present and awake than when he's running around with his vices. A fun, daring, but increasingly, incredibly dangerous game to play. It becomes such a factor of enjoyability for him, and he is able to put himself all in because he sort of gets to step away from himself in a sense. He can put up the facade without even thinking about the facade and separate himself from self-consciousness, expectation, fear, imposter syndrome, the things that make up his potential for disbelief and a crash. This establishes the crux of Respect Me, where the smoothness and seeking out of romancing is at an all-time high, but the bubble bursts, and Haste begins to spiral. The comment of, "You don't respect me, I knew you hated me when you met me," and the chorus as a whole is the unraveling of this persona he cannot hold on to. He goes from trying to catch what he seeks, manifest belief to reality, to momentarily becoming someone who holds a pure lack of belief in their own ability. He is not yet spiraling, as he regains himself quickly, but suddenly you can tell something is turning. A switch is flipping. Something has the potential to go very, very badly here. So the second verse becomes very aggressive, overly flagrant, using these lines that, although not incredibly too egregious, are pushing things. They're a little vile, even in their cleverness. But the ref would probably be calling a foul here, if we're being honest. It's like when Jeff Teague loses the ball and then is about to tackle his opponent on a fast break. Something has gone wrong with the wiring, and the consequences are not pretty. The final verse then acts as this attempt to wrestle with emotions, but without any successful evolution, instead blocking itself off from real introspection and development even after a strong start, and then straight back into the crashing out and the facade. Then White Powder, which is that concept of hedonism turning up to its maximum, bringing all the flagrancy in the world with it. The beat is energetic and brash, so are the verses, so is the hook. It's unfiltered, it's harsh. It is giving into all of the album's core symbols of vice and not questioning itself on that topic at all. Haste here thinks everything is fantastic and does not have any regard for the concept of consequence. He is here abundantly present. He's very in the moment, which is awesome, but even more so abundantly problematic. Setting up for the feelings of crashing down from this artificially inflated high to the sobering lows of the morning after. Smoke, Michael Jordan, and Drink With Me give 3 different points of response to the crash post overindulgence in one's own hedonism, from being so high up that you feel you can do no wrong, to tumbling down under the weight of one's own ambition, and lust to simply have so much. Smoke is nothing if not the feeling of what it feels to be hungover in a sweaty days with a nightmarish headache. Here, he is forced by his own subconscious to address his own wrongdoings, how he could have hurt people, a reflection that represents his present and the future. He's just repeating what he has done for a while now, really. And while he'll have a chance to, break this cycle, but will he actually do so? Or is it just going to go around in circles again? I mean, this is where Michael Jordan interlude brings his consciousness to the discussion. Now he's not just bearing witness to grievances he knows he has committed, but he is actively considering precisely what has occurred, who he is, and where he stands. This is all about Haste not exactly coming to his feet, but working out where they currently lay. Unsurprisingly, his relationship with women is the focal point to get his engine running, to get him to actually be honest about who he is and what he wants, to be alone with his thoughts and his demons, and to be truthful regarding them. Here, what he unveils is that deep down he is no fraud, that this is a misinterpretation of his own self due to an impacted self-esteem and misguided judgment as a result of growing up in a society that so often confronts effort, genuineness, and expression with apprehension, defensiveness, and ridicule. What he finds in himself is that he needs to double down on his pursuits, a dedication to domination, but he questions if this is even possible. At the end of the day, this isn't his first time dealing with this fork in the road. Perhaps Even Firestarter was not far off a similar place in the cycle. However, the point of difference now is that he finally sees what must be sacrificed. No doubt help by that smoke nightmare flashbacking. And although without confirmation of if he will take up that challenge, we now know he knows what it takes. So he does have it in him to take that leap. Drink with me indicates perhaps not. It sees him take what feels like one last well-meaning swing at romance for the time being, with this lady who he clearly has a past with, though not of a necessarily substantial and lengthy proportion. It's once again smooth, with an extremely mellow, late-night warmth, almost drugged-out kind of beat. It's soothing, with, I believe, the runaway best vocal performance of the album. The chorus is self-aware without condescension or any sense of triumph. It truly feels like Haste is finally having an honest conversation, at least, as he asks, "Will you be with me? Truthfully, I am weak for you." The beautiful thing here is that although he handles the situation better than we've seen before, he hasn't really grown. His foundation is not much stronger, even if he is more actively conscious of his mistakes. What has actually transformed? And therefore he gets rejected, shut down, he gets out-conversated. Even at his smoothest, he receives the more gentle slap in the face that he deserves and needs right now, because it's time for change, and the drink, nor pursuit of love, will allow for that right now. Bruce Wayne, Hoodies and Sweats, Flow State, and Feel Yourself are the subsequent actions of choosing the path you know you want to walk and hitting that trail with every ounce of effort you have to give. It is definitely the healthiest mindset displayed on the album, having taken time to slow down, acknowledge mistakes, accept missteps and mistreatments, give lesson devices, and operate with a clearer vision than ever possessed before. The opening 2 lines of Bruce Wayne's first verse, compounded with the energy the track has to offer, is the catapult from a state of anxiety, unknowing, clouded judgment into full throttle assault on getting everything he's ever dreamed of. I think I'll be okay, that's what I said after the rosé, is the firm smile out of adversity to say, don't you get it? You will never be able to stop me now. An affirmation of utter belief in oneself and of complete unbridled commitment to hunting down their destiny. It is a song that must be a banger, and was the perfect time of the album for one to appear. Bruce Wayne's presence enables Hoodies and Sweats to just be this moment of feeling like things are clicking, having already regained the confidence that makes Haste special, that has the ability to separate himself from competition, counterparts and criticism, and he is now acting on that separation, distancing himself appropriately, because he recognizes the less he allows outside noise to fetter him in his decisions, the easier it is to abstain from hedonism, because there is no need for quick hits and fixes to satisfy a weaker, more delicate ego. Instead, he must train himself to consistently truly be the vision he sees himself as, to ensure the dream manifests to reality. The track is confrontational, similar to Die For You, Even Respect Me, and it could easily lead itself to repeating the same cycle of having these flashes of rise, determination, success and capitalization and confidence, but so quickly losing them due to weak will surrounding vices and a desire for instant flattery. The chorus comes through as a mantra, even if braggadocious, with a lot of bravado and reasonably boastful, given the indicators of the past potentially brittle. But it is this way because the utter belief in this assertion is the path for it to become true unspoken. Both verses carry this forward to evoke the feeling of having this strong foundation to fall back to if needed, while also truly envisioning precisely what success looks like and why Haste feels like he's able to close in on a victory now more than ever. Flow State then takes the power, the unflappable belief that enables pure confidence, the fuel of animosity that has now turned to more of a pity to those who aren't working as hard as him and aren't willing to do what he does, while also now setting sights on addressing where feelings of animosity to him may come from, and whether and when they are right and wrong. Flow State is the energy, themes, and style of the album turned up to 100, just absolutely swinging for the fences with nothing but a belief that does not care about losing because it couldn't possibly conceive of a reality where that's even possible anymore with this current trajectory he has found himself on. Like the entire last third of the album, it's adamantly feeling itself. But here particularly, it's like there's no way to stop it. The momentum is just out of this world, which is why the track is just 3 minutes straight of pure, desperate, hard, bar after bar after bar rapping. The definition of rapping like the rent is due. I look at this track in itself simply as a statement of show them you can do this thing so fucking well. What does that look like? Finally, feel yourself. Baby, come back. Which is the victory lap of all victory laps. It slows down a bit, but not too much. Still in that rapping, energetic, passionate, and confidence oozing zone, but now with a lot less to prove and more assurance to leave people with. More than any other track on the album, I feel like this one has so much fun. Just living in a state of doing it for the love of the game, which really is where Haste has wanted to place himself the whole time. It's where his heart has been drawn to, and now he's finally getting to do it. He's really accomplished that goal we've sort of seen since Firestarter. It is introspective and honest without being melodramatic or drawing out attention to itself. It just is. Every line extremely raw, honest, and full of emotion. But at a point in the scheme of belief, the delivery is much more relaxed, as if there is much left to prove now, specifically to himself, because he knows everything is set and under control, and therefore he needs nothing desperately, well, except, Pink Panthers and a little tranquility, but whatever. The Fire is fantastic, so I got nothing else to say except listen to it now. You will not regret it. There is a lot to unpack, a lot more than a simple face value vibe will allow insight on. So really do try and take the time to deconstruct the record and see what you take away from it. Whatever you find is true, as long as it's truly true to you. I hope you manage to enjoy it even more than I do. And as for last week's missed episode of I Love, do not worry. It is not being forgotten at all. I will make up for it very, very soon. No. Thank you for listening to I Love The Fire by Haste. Leave a like, follow, subscribe, comment, share. Just whatever your proclivity. Just remember, you're my proclivity. Thank you.